Your power bill went up, and somewhere near you there's probably a data center, or a fight about one. Here's the part nobody's explaining. The companies building them have started suing the towns that told them no. Let me walk you through what's actually happening, because the numbers are wilder than the headlines. First, the scale of the pushback. According to Data Center Watch, a group that tracks these projects, at least 75 data center projects worth roughly $130 billion were blocked or delayed in the first quarter of 2026 alone. Not the year, the quarter. That roughly matched the total for all of 2025. The number of active opposition groups more than doubled in 3 months, from under 400 to over 800, spread across 49 states. In the first 6 weeks of the year, more than 300 data center bills were filed in state houses, with statewide moratorium proposals introduced in 14 states. One nearly became law in Maine before the governor vetoed it. That's not a few angry neighbors. That's a national land use fight. Second, why? 3 complaints come up over and over: power, water, and noise. But the one that hits everybody, including people who will never lay eyes on the building, is the power bill. So let me explain the actual mechanism, because this is where most coverage gets sloppy. A data center does not send you a bill. What happens is this. A very large customer asks a utility for a very large amount of electricity. The utility needs new generation, new transmission, new substations. It files a rate case with the State Public Utility Commission, and unless that commission creates a separate rate class for the big customer, the cost of that build-out gets spread across everybody on the system, including the household 3 counties over that never heard about the project. There's a second channel too, wholesale power markets. In the PJM region, which covers all or part of 13 states, the capacity auction cleared around $270 per megawatt day, up from under $30 in the prior auction. PJM's own market monitor documented roughly $13 billion in costs tied to data center load additions flowing through to ratepayers in a single quarter. Now here's where I want to slow down, because there's a viral number going around. You've probably seen the claim that people living near data centers have seen their bills rise 267%. Fact checkers went and looked. That figure refers to wholesale prices, not residential bills. Residential electricity nationally is up about 42% over 5 years, according to federal energy data, and data centers are one contributor among several: fuel costs, storm hardening, aging infrastructure. It's a real problem. It's just not a 267% problem, and you deserve the real number. Third, the lawsuits. This is the new phase. When a county passes a moratorium, developers have started going to federal court and arguing the county never had the authority to pass it in the first place. In one Texas county, commissioners passed a 1-year ban on large data center and energy projects. The developers sued, arguing that Texas counties only hold the powers the legislature expressly grants them, and a blanket construction moratorium isn't one of them. The county rescinded the ban about a week after the suit was filed, and agreed to cover up to $100,000 in the developer's attorney's fees. Neighboring counties watched that happen and quietly tabled their own proposals after their attorneys flagged the same legal risk. Similar suits are live in Kentucky, New Jersey, and elsewhere, and it runs both directions. Residents and advocacy groups are also suing local governments, arguing that approvals violated public notice or zoning rules. Litigation has quietly become the main way these disputes get settled. Fourth, states are now stepping in over the top of everybody. Texas is the clearest example. The state called a halt on approving new data center grid connections until regulators can audit the projects in the queue: power use, water use, tax breaks, ownership. Why? Because the interconnection queue in Texas totals roughly 474 gigawatts of requests. That is more than 5 times the state's all-time record peak electricity demand. Sit with that number for a second. If even a fraction of it is real, it reshapes the grid. And if most of it is speculative, developers filing multiple requests for the same project, or projects that quietly die, then utilities are planning and spending against demand that never shows up. Either way, somebody pays for the planning, and that somebody is on the customer side of the meter. Fifth, what actually protects your bill? It isn't the moratorium, it's the tariff. A large load tariff is a separate rate class that requires very large customers to cover their own infrastructure costs, usually with minimum payment terms so they can't walk away halfway through a build-out and leave the tab behind. As of the middle of this year, 24 states had approved at least one. Virginia, Oregon, Texas, and Ohio have some of the more developed versions on the books. And some developers are skipping the whole fight, partnering with independent power producers to build their own generation on-site, behind the meter, so they never enter the public utility queue at all. That solves the ratepayer problem in theory. It raises air quality and water questions in its place. So here's your takeaway. This is the part you can actually act on. 1. Go look up whether your utility has a rate case pending right now. They're public. Your state's Public Utility Commission posts them, and comment periods are open to you. 2. Find out whether your state has approved a large load tariff. That single line item does more to protect your monthly bill than any yard sign ever will. 3. While you're in there, check what rate plan you're actually on. Time of use pricing is spreading fast in high demand regions, and if you're on it without realizing it, running your dryer at 5 in the afternoon is costing you real money every single week. You can't control a 400 gigawatt queue. You can absolutely control what you pay for the hour you use. That's the fight, that's the money, and that's the one lever that's actually in your hand. If this was worth your time, leave a like, and subscribe if you'd rather understand what's hitting your bill before it hits your bill.